So I've just done my first woodworking project, which is this little table that you see over here. It's kind of like an end table for my couch, so it can slide over it, and then you can place some stuff on it while you're sitting on the couch, which is maybe a bit handier than always reaching to the coffee table. I made it at a community center in my town, so they have like a big woodworking space where you can go for really cheap and use the equipment and learn from the people there. So that was super fun, and now I just want to make a bunch of other stuff. So my next idea is a wooden vinyl holder or a record holder, because right now I have like a metal one, which I feel like doesn't exactly fit the vibe of my apartment. Let's see what comes of it. I'm also curious as to which vinyl holder you feel fits better in my apartment. So here's a quick impression kind of the decorations, the colors, the overall vibe I'm going for. And at the end of the video, I'll do a side-by-side comparison of the wooden vinyl holder that I'm going to make and then the metal one that I currently have. Let me know at the end which one you think works better in the space. So I actually already had a rough idea for the design for the vinyl holder, but I didn't know sort of how big I needed to make it or what measurements to use for it. So I measured up my vinyl collection to make sure that they would basically all fit in the final one that I'm going to make. And then once I had those measurements, I drew up a rough sketch, put the measurements on it, and then it was time to head over to the workshop to get started on making it. So once I'd selected the wood that I wanted to use, which wasn't the best, let's say, but it's also scrap pieces that they have on offer at this workshop. Then I started to basically copy over the measurements that I needed to draw out sort of the areas that I needed to cut away. What I didn't show you in the video, but what I did off camera was also just quickly make some basic 3D models of the parts. And then turn those into some technical drawings, which were just a little bit easier to work with instead of, with like a little book with a sketch in it. So that's what I went ahead and did, just copied over the sketches to get ready to cut everything. Unfortunately, I couldn't really film much of the cutting because, basically the volunteers or the people that help you at this workshop, they do the cutting unless you know how to do it yourself. So seeing that I'm new to woodworking, unfortunately wasn't allowed to do the cutting, but hopefully soon I can do that. So what they did allow me to do was to use one of the bandsaws they had to cut out sort of those little notches, those grooves on all of the pieces of wood, so that the whole vinyl holder could essentially fit together. So I went ahead and did that, and then afterwards basically used the belt sander to soften all of the edges and remove any sharp corners that there were on the pieces. I just find it looks a bit nicer when all of the edges and corners are rounded. last step in the process was to use the sander to basically just make sure all of the surfaces and the edges were, first of all, obviously looking a bit neat. So I try to get rid of some of that black marking on the wood. And then, of course, just get it all to be like a uniform color, remove any stains or stuff that were left behind from whatever it was used for before. I did that, which, to be honest, took quite a while, but it's also in a way like quite a meditative task to just sit there sanding the wood, and then eventually you get to like the final product, which is looking really good and smooth, exactly how you want it. So that's what I did to finish off the project. So after all of the sanding was done, I quickly put the vinyl holder together just to get a sneak peek at what it's going to look like. Alright, so I finished the project. I've just gotten home with the pieces, as you can see over here. Let me talk you through a little bit how it went. Basically, these pieces were super easy. In fact, everything was really easy to make. The only thing is that, these grooves, basically, they're not all exactly the right size. I try to get them the right size, but they're not exactly the right size. And so it moves a little bit, these planks, like in the grooves. And so I had to get some really small, basically little pieces to fit in there, which I'll show you in a moment. So let's assemble it and have a look to see what this looks like. In terms of which parts I wanted to, or like which faces I wanted to show on the outside, I had some options, but this face I thought wasn't as good looking as this side. So I chose this side and the outside for one of them. And then I had the option between basically this face and this face. But once again, I chose sort of the more plain white face to put on the outside. Then when it comes to these plates, sort of ones that hold actually the records up, you can see on one side there's quite a bit of this sort of, I don't know if it's ink or what it is that was previously on the wood. But basically the one side has it, the other side doesn't really have it that much. So I chose to put the side with the black spots on the inside of the build. And this way it wouldn't be super visible to the eye once it's assembled. So same goes for this one. It has sort of that black spot there. But on this side, it's pretty much okay. Also has what looks like a bit of water damage or something. But I chose to sort of ignore that. Even though I tried to sand it away, it didn't really come off. And so this is what the sort of completed thing looks like. And you can see on this side, it's pretty good. But on this side, there's really quite a lot of play in it. And that's where these sort of small little parts are going to be really useful. So basically, I decided I'm just going to wedge them in between over here. So a bit difficult to do with the phone out for the recording, but let me try it like this. Essentially, maybe I have it in wrong. Okay, so it turns out I had one of these bottom brackets the wrong way around. So yeah, I mean, you do see the, let's say, not as nice face on the one end now, but not bothering me too much, because basically 2 of these grooves on the same side were a bit bigger, while 2 of them were the exact right size. So this side, it doesn't have that much play in it, but this side's really got a lot of play in it, and that's why these little parts are going to be super useful. So basically just wedge them in between there. They're a bit difficult to get in because it's quite a tight fit, but that's also sort of the idea of having these little wedges. And so once they were in, then you can see it's, let's say, it's a bit better, it's a bit more equal. So that's done, and now what's left to do is basically replace my current vinyl holder, this metal one, with a wooden one, and sort of see, you know, how it's comparing to each other. So here is the final product. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think it looks super good. It works really well. Like, it doesn't feel like unstable or something like this. Easy to flick through the vinyls. I think it looks pretty clean in general, how it turned out with the wood. Of course, could have improved a couple of things like the grooves, but yeah, let me know what you think of it. Yeah, I mean, compared to the old vinyl holder, the metal one that I had, I think the wooden one is much better. The metal one takes up a lot of room, and it also doesn't really function so well to flick through the vinyls. I mean, to be honest, I don't even know if this was meant for vinyls, but that's what I just used it for. And then, yeah, the metal feet, they sort of scratch the floor a bit. I didn't really like them. So yeah, curious to hear your thoughts on it. Let me know in the comments. So as a little side note, I wanted to show you quickly this wooden tripod, which I made in between filming the parts of this video. I had this clamp lying around, which on one end sort of has this, yeah, as you can see, like this clamping system, which goes around something round. And on the other end, it's got like a screw to fit into the camera. So I had this laying around, and I thought, yeah, it would be nice to use it. So I decided to make a tripod. On top, I put this round piece of wood so it can clamp down, and that can be adjusted with the screw at the bottom to turn it around or tighten it. And then, yeah, sort of for the legs, I decided to do the same sort of system with the screws. Yeah, just wanted to show you this, as I thought it was also a pretty cool project, but unfortunately I didn't film it. So yeah, that was the wooden vinyl holder that I decided to make spontaneously because I didn't like my old one. But yeah, if you enjoyed this type of video where I'm just making some stuff, sort of fixing stuff in my house, DIYing some stuff, then definitely subscribe, and maybe in the future I'm doing some more woodworking projects or maybe some other sort of DIY hands-on stuff. So if you're into that, definitely stick around. But if you're also interested in stuff like bike packing and hiking and that adventure side of things, then also make sure to stick around, because that's what I'm planning to do a lot on this channel too. I'm actually planning a 1 to 2 month bike packing trip coming up in the summer here in Europe. So if that's something that you're curious to see, like all of the planning, building up the bike, probably I'm going to try to do like a cheap bike rig, and plan my routes and all of this, then definitely stick around on the channel to see how that unfolds. But yeah, otherwise, thanks for tuning in and checking this out, and hope to see you soon.